Hello and welcome to All Fired Up. This week you'll have a DIY wife. As you can see, it is a glorious grey day today, so it's a really good opportunity to talk about solar power. Our workshop and house is 100% solar powered. We're 100% off-grid. Mainly we did this because in our area of New Zealand we have a lines charge, so before you turn on a light bulb it's $150, if not more, because we would be deemed as commercial, and that's per month. So it's $150 a month before you turn on a light bulb or use any of Justin's tools, just in lines bill charges. So we sort of said, no, that's ridiculous, and we invested in solar panels. So behind me we have 8 260 watt solar panels, and we have more around the edge. An interesting reason why we have two sets is because where our solar panels are located, the sun actually comes in from such an angle that these two pick up sunshine from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then these 6 get the 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. sunshine. So that's why we had to split them up. For some reason our power was dying in the middle of summer, and it took us getting up very early to watch the sunrise and find out what was happening. So here's the technical bit. These are 260 watt panels and they are wired into pairs. Those pairs are in series, and then those series build up to 3 sets of parallel. That sounds really confusing, but it's basically, this is a 24 volt panel and I want 48 volts of power going into my inverter. So all we've done is built up the voltage, which sort of means that we can have more amps. Think of it like water tubing. All I've done is I put a bigger pipe on, and it allows for sort of more power coming in. But this adds up to 2,000 kilowatts. Sorry, 2 kilowatts. This adds up to 2 kilowatts, 2,000 watts of power. For an example, a jug, normal electric jug, will use anywhere between 2 and 3,000 kilowatts an hour. So, like, it sounds like a lot of solar panels, but it's just enough to get us through. So this is our exciting bit in here. We've recently upgraded to a 5 kilowatt inverter. That means that we can run pretty much every single tool in the workshop but the welder. So the welder and the air compressor still run on the generator, but things like angle grinders, power hammers, battery drills, everything like that, it's all run on this solar, 5 kilowatts. You can hear it beeping. It's because we're running out of power. So this is the kind of, we're in midwinter in New Zealand now, and we didn't get much sun yesterday. We don't have much sun today, and Justin, I can currently hear, is using power tools, which means that our system is draining really quickly. Long story short, that means that we might be sitting in the dark tonight with the candles on, but it's still $150 a month in lines bills plus power bills that we don't have to pay, so we sort of put up with it. What we've done to sort of alleviate the strain is, on wet days, Justin used a generator, which is petrol generator, to run most of his workshop, and we're going to be getting a 48 volt charger so we can charge our own batteries while he runs that generator. So it's sort of using the waste power from the generator. So if he's only running lights with it, we can use that excess power to sort of recharge our batteries. As you can see, these are the batteries we've got. These are 200 amp hours, and I know this won't make sense to a lot of people, but it might make sense to some. These are 200 amp hour batteries. I've got them in groups of 4 because they're 12 volt batteries, and then I've got 3 groups of 4. That gives me 2,000 amp hours. What that means is basically we can store quite a bit of power, which means in the middle of the night we can still turn the lights on and stuff most days. But it also means that they don't go up and down or discharge as deeply, which sort of gives them a longevity of life, which is what we're looking for. I want these batteries to last 15 years because they were painfully expensive, and I don't want to have to replace them every couple of years. A couple of things I'm quite proud of that we've either upgraded or I've listened to people is that we've actually got fuses, which, like, in New Zealand we're a very DIY country, and I'm on a lot of Facebook pages where there's a lot of people who don't have these, and it's very scary. But basically this is a big isolation switch, so I can turn the panels off if there's ever an issue. And then I've got this fuse down here, which is a DC fuse, which means I can isolate the batteries. So for instance, if there was sparking down here batteries are on fire, what do? Isolate the batteries. That protects the house from any kind of flare up, that protects the solar panels from any kind of flare up, and that protects my nice inverter from any kind of flare up. So that's what these fuses are in place for. Again, I also have fuses in place in the house, but those are your like standard 240 volt 15 amp 10 amp fuses. So like if the jug hits a fuse or the light bulb blows and hits a fuse, that protects this system as well. So one of those things that's really important if you're building your own solar is to put these like systems in place, put these fuses in place, and be really, really strict with yourself, because this stops your house burning down at 2 in the morning. So you've seen our batteries and our inverter, and then we've got a wire that, if you have a look up there, that goes into the house and carries the 240 volts into the house, and then we've got an extension cord that disappears off into the paddock, and that's what powers Justin's workshop. Some of the other things that we've done, some of the other things that we've done that, like they're not obvious, but they're really important, is that we've used thicker wire. So I started off with a 6mm gauge, which was fine, it was really adequate, but it didn't really allow the types of, amperage, which is a thing like gushing electrodes. It didn't really allow that to hit the batteries or hit the house, so we'd die pretty early on. What I've done now is I've got 25mm wires on the batteries. That is about $12 a metre in New Zealand. You can get it a bit cheaper when you bring it in from China direct, but yeah, it was a lot of money to invest in, but it's been well worth it. I really do recommend it. Also the lugs that then go with that, you have to have 20mm lugs, and again, if you get it from New Zealand, like Trade Me, you're looking at $3 each. Whereas if you go to China, you're looking about 5 cents, 50 cents for some of those. And like, yeah, why wouldn't you? You just got to wait a couple of weeks for postage. Other things that we've done is we've used MC4 connectors. So these are like push and play connectors for all the solar panels. Most of the solar panels that you will buy will come with these MC4 connectors. And again, if you buy them from New Zealand, they're $25 each. And I have 6 on my array, plus countless others, and I've done Mum's as well, so I must have used about 15 so far. But if you get them in from China, they're $4 each. So like, it's one of those things that you'll have to wait a little bit longer and be a bit smarter about shipping and buying, but I really do recommend that you go to China. I know that politically the world's against them at the moment, but when it's a pinch in your pocket or food on your table, I'd much rather go with a bit cheaper. I have found that the quality is almost exactly the same, and that's the thing. Like, if the quality was a bit worse, then sure, we'd buy New Zealand, but the people that I can buy from in New Zealand are getting these from China anyway, so it's the same unit. It's just that I save 80% of their markup. So, like, yeah, I get it. If the quality wasn't there, we wouldn't, but like, everything I found to be is perfect. Our inverter comes from China direct. In New Zealand, you're looking about $3,000 for the unit we've got, whereas China cost us about $500. Like, yeah, the savings are incredible. And our unit has been running, it's been running our home and our workshop for almost a year now, non-stop, no issues. So we did just recently have an inverter die. It was a 3 kilowatt inverter, but actually the only thing that was wrong with it was that the fan unit broke. I probably could have fixed it myself for, $20, $30. However, I have sent it off to a computer technician just because it's so fiddly and I just don't have time. Thank you guys for joining us this week for DIY Wife on solar panels. Hopefully you got a bit of information out of it. You're welcome to contact us, with any questions or comments, and we're always eager to learn more. And join us next week for Justin back in the workshop, hopefully with a bit more sunshine. Remember, it's solstice coming up this weekend, so hopefully, days will get longer soon. Bye, guys.